Well, anyway, are you ready for the main event, Brian, of night one for the World Championship? One of them, at least. CM Punk and Gunther. I will say that the stadium looks better after dark. I've got to mention that. And we were 2.5 hours in. It wasn't that long of a show. The people were up for it. The crowd had been somewhat mild in a lot of spots, except for the holy shit moments, and they loved a jelly roll. But this, again, it started, I was really liking things, and then sometimes they take a turn. But it was the first wrestling match of the night, actually, where they started locking up and shit and wrestling, and Punk was working an arm. And I see what they were going for because of what was going to happen at the end. But they had to, they were telling the story that Punk just got the shit kicked out of him through this whole thing. He would still keep fighting, but he would get turned back. And finally, after a long and vicious war, he would win by the skin of his teeth and have absolutely nothing left. But I still think they could have told this story about 10 or 12 minutes shorter, don't you? When it came down to it.
It took a while. It took a while. And I mean, at one point, Punk was down on the ground for such a long time talking to the referee. I was like, did something go wrong? But then everything continued as normal, but it took a while. It seemed like they were drawing it out.
Again, love Gunther. And it's his style that he's the dominant physical guy, and that the other guy fights from underneath, the baby face. And Punk did that fine. He sells. You can feel the pain because of the face that he makes and the body language. And Gunther's chops are vicious, but Punk would fight back, and Gunther would bully him and trash talk him. And everything that they did made sense. Everybody reacted to it in the proper ways. And both guys did their trademark stuff. It's just, it went so long, possibly because they felt they had to because of the afterbirth they were doing. But otherwise, and the one spot, Gunther climbed up on the ringside desk to gloat, and Punk jerked his feet out from under him, and bam, he went down and rolled under the desk and came back out bleeding. Poor Gunther. He didn't want to be seen, but that must mean he's not confident in his sleight of hand. So there is possibly a small notch knocked out of his armor. If I could only think of another way to say that.
They sold it as the blood coming from his nose, that it was his nose.
Well, and he was selling it good too, because covering his nose and trying to, so that part, it looked, and that was a pretty nice little touch there. But nevertheless, they got into it from there with the Punk made the comeback, the elbow off the top. Gunther got the sleeper. Punk got under it, hit a GTS. And then fucking Gunther staggered, but he didn't go down. So Punk got under him and hit another one. Boom, 1, 2, 3, and won the belt and got a huge pop. That worked just fine. And he's the new champion, and he's crying. You can see the tears. He's handed the belt. He hugs the belt. The people are chanting CM Punk. Gunther is rolled out to attend to his bloodiness. And suddenly, burn it down! They did it anyway. And Seth comes out on crutches and a knee brace, but of course, then he drops the crutches, takes the brace off. And I got a bunch of people on Twitter saying, see, Brian was right. They did it. And I apologize for being wrong. I had no idea that many experienced, bright, creative people, including Heyman, would sacrifice a network TV special to do really bad, rotten, awkward television on purpose for the sake of the particular cash in that they just did here. I'm not opposed to the cash in. It was perfect time because Punk was beat to shit and a blah, blah, blah. But to go to all that trouble of stinking the joint out to make people believe it was real, to show them that it wasn't. There had
What about
to be
working the boy? What about working the?
Well, they're working it well. And most, like I said at the time, I can understand working the boys these days because if you didn't, I'm surprised everybody's personal phone number's not out on Twitter. These bunch of loose-lipped bastards. But for something as insignificant as that, and then when people knew about it anyway, or thought they knew about it, or everybody was talking about it, but I was wrong in that I didn't believe that they would purposely do rotten television on a network special just to do this. If they'd have done it in some type of way where it didn't stink the show up, then I would be just happy as a clam.
Right before the Goldberg retirement match.
Right before the Goldberg retirement match, which then turned around and the end of that stunk the show up where they didn't even fucking get the speech. But nevertheless.
And Jim, one more thing about Rollins coming out there. Again, isn't part of the problem he's doing this all babyface style? He comes out there and dramatically turns around, drops the crutches, removes the knee brace, all for pops.
Yeah.
While they sing his music. Isn't that part of the problem? How could you be a heel if everything you do is a babyface? Or babyface style?
Well, I don't think they care anymore because they're just doing holy shit over and over. What's a guy going through furniture, or he's not injured after all? Maybe he isn't. We don't. There was no sneakiness and underhandedness in what they did here. And it's hard to get heat on a guy, number one, when everybody likes to sing his song, but when they've told people, oh, he's injured, he's going to be out for months. Well, they don't want him to be hurting out for months. So when he comes back, yes, they're cheering. Oh, he's back. He's not hurt after all. Yay. Now he'll go in and beat up CM Punk, beat him over the head with a briefcase 7 times, give him the curb stomp 1, 2, 3. Now they've seen a happening. I don't know if it got that much heat. But you see what I'm saying is when they've told, the only other thing they could have said, well, unfortunately, he's dead. You'll never see him again because he's died. And then the next show, oh, thank God he's not dead.
And now we get more Punk Rollins.
Yes.
Is that what you want?
And
is that what you want?
That's the thing is, I was kind of hoping down deep in my little heart of hearts that it would be Paul handing the briefcase to Braun Breaker. And when Seth did come back after a number of months as a babyface to get his property back from his evil fucking backstabbing former manager, you could get Seth Rollins as a babyface and Braun Breaker for the world title. That I kind of liked.
And they set something up too. I mean, if you think about it, Gunther lost the title and then immediately Punk is screwed. They also set up dissension between Gunther and the Heyman group with Braun Breaker on Raw.
Well, and here's another problem because when Heyman's other guys came in to celebrate, Braun had his knee wrapped up and was limping somewhat. So hopefully they didn't.
There was footage that was going around of him limping backstage after his match.
I get a lot of stunts. I didn't see anything in the ring that should have injured him. So is it all these goddamn stunts?
At this point, if anyone in the Heyman group cries knee injury, are you going to believe him?
Well, and there's the problem also.
Yeah, and again, John Pollock had the story. He was told exactly what was going to happen with Rollins going down with a knee injury. And that's exactly what played out. So we'll see where they go. Seth Rollins, the new either world champion or WWE. What is he? Is he the world champion? World champion.
World champion.
And of course, Jim, after the first full day of SummerSlam, nonstop wrestling action in the sun, you may want a good night's sleep. You may be amped up and you may say, I need a little bit of help to get a great night's sleep tonight. And we know someone who could help all the listeners.
Well, it's not someone, it's something, Brian. Get the grammatical verbiage correct. It's a thing, it's a product, it's a concoction that you can use to make sure that you get the good sleep. Because after you've been hearing that pyro in that stadium all night, you got that ringing in your head, you can't sleep. Even when you're trying to count sheep, every time the sheep goes over the fence, it gets shot down by a piece of pyro. So you need to go to the Beams Dream Powder, because the Dream Powder, we've talked about, the all-natural sleep blend with science-backed ingredients designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. And you don't have to worry about sheep being shot in your sleep. You're going to sleep the silence of the sheep.
We don't...
See,
we don't guarantee what you will dream about. We can guarantee a good night's sleep.
Well, if you're dreaming about sheep, I'm telling you, there may be some type of perverted situation in your childhood. But
I don't know what goes on over there. But also,
we talked about the science of the lambs. Now we're talking about the silence of the sheep, because it'll just be quiet and peaceful. Dee, 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 dee. See that kind of tune. When you take the Beam Dream Powder, you're going to be sleeping in silence, like in a cocoon of sensory deprivation, where all you're doing is you're sleeping, you're relaxing, you're recharging your body. And unlike, Brian, other sleep aids, no next day grogginess. Boom, your eyes open up. It's like somebody hit you with an electric charge. You're ready to take on the day. As a matter of fact, Stacy takes this stuff all the time. She subscribes. She has the little Beam mug. Every morning when she wakes up, she throws the window open, ready to take on the day. She says, "Hey, fuck you, day. You're going down. Soon as I get out there, you better not be on my front porch when I open the door." Every once in a while, she kicks the mailman in the balls. He happens to be there.
I don't know about any of that. And again, this is not advisable if you live in a tenement or something. But Jim,
if you live in a tenement, you need even more help getting to sleep to forget about the fucking hovel you live in.
Once again, let's talk about the sleep. Let's focus on the sleep. Let's focus on the sleep. You can be anywhere you want when you have a good night's sleep.
You can't just sleep on a goddamn, just on a mound in the middle of the interstate.
Well, I meant like if you have a good dream. In your dreams, you could be anywhere. You could be in Tahiti.
Well, you're going to be flat on your back in the morgue if you go to sleep on the interstate.
Well, don't do that.
And a lot of people should, you know what? A lot of people shouldn't be sleeping so much, because if they live in a tenement, like you said, then they ought to be out working, trying to better their conditions.
Maybe they are.
In that case,
there's a hardworking man there.
Well, they're all hopped up on the Beam Dream Powder, just sleeping willy-nilly.
No, again, no one's hopped up on anything, but if you use the Beam Dream Powder, you will get a great night's sleep. I think that's kind of what you were really meant to say.
Well, yes, that's without saying. It goes without saying, because we say it all the time.
We should just say it. I think we should say it.
Well, say it, man. You're going to sleep a lot better with Beam Dream Powder. But you got to be honest with yourself. Am I a person that has attained the successful status in life that I should go to sleep? Because some people out there still need to be up and working, getting their ass out of the tenements, getting themselves a good job with a secure future instead of sleeping their lives away. Only order the Beam Dream Powder at ShopBeam, BEAM, shopbeam.com, if you feel like you deserve it, because you've attained some type of status in the community. You're not just leeching off the government.
That's right. If you feel you deserve it.
Yes, if you deserve it. And here's something. If you've worked hard, ladies and gentlemen, if you have worked hard and you feel like you can afford to go to sleep now, well, you're going to save up to 40% off right now.
That's right. An important thing to note. And I'm glad you brought that up, Jim. A great deal
Yes.
for the listeners, a great night's sleep with a great deal that'll help you sleep even better knowing you saved money.
Yes. Well, you'll sleep better knowing that you've screwed these people out of 40% of their revenue here.
I wouldn't look at it that way. No.
Yes.
No.
Well, I'm telling you, it's absolutely true that if you go to Shop Beam right now, shopbeam, BEAM.com/JCE, and use the code JCE, you're going to save up to 40% off on the incredible Beam Dream Powder. Shopbeam.com/JCE, use the code JCE at checkout, and you're going to save, well, just up to 40% off, as I've just said. And that only if you deserve this now. If you've been working hard, minding your P's and Q's, and you've got somewhat of a successful style of living going on, then you can afford to go to sleep. But if you still need to be out there in the trenches, I think you need to spend a few sleepless nights so you'll further your standards.
Once again, a great night's sleep and a great deal. The Dream Powder from Beam. Jim, what's that promo code one more time?
JCE. That's no next day grogginess, just real deep, almost suspended animation type of sleep.
Not almost suspended. We were right there at the end. A great night's sleep, that promo code.
JCE. They've improved 17.5 million nights of sleep. Let them improve yours.